Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is Mad Max Fury Road. Fury Road is the modern continuation of the classic 1980s Mad Max movies. Set in the wasteland of post-apocalypse Australia, these movies are all about sick, souped-up apocalypse car fights. Right off the bat, our hero, Max, is captured by a new group of raiders. They live in a place called the Citadel, and their leader is Immortan Joe, a guy who's got like an oxygen mask to survive. The great thing about this place, it has fresh water, but Joe's real stingy with it to keep control. Joe's soldiers are called the War Boys, who paint themselves white for this skeletal look, and they've got a whole car-based religion to their god V8. But Joe's top general is Imperator Furiosa, who today is driving the war rig on a routine supply run to trade with neighboring gangs. But today, Furiosa has plans of her own. She takes the war rig off course. When Joe realizes Furiosa's betrayed him and stolen his most prized possessions, he assembles a full war party to go get her back. Max, meanwhile, they've kept alive. Turns out he is a universal blood donor, so they're using him as a blood bag. This war boy Nux still needs more blood, but he doesn't want to miss the fun, so he straps Max to the front of his car to finish the transfusion on the way. And this war party is freaking sick, full of all sorts of crazy cars. They got one just for speakers where a psycho raider's shredding on a guitar that shoots fire, and our friend Max has a front row seat. Furiosa is a huge badass. She's missing an arm, but only needs one. But she can't take on the whole war party, so she's trying to lose them by driving into a crazy storm. But the war boys follow her. They don't fear death. In fact, their greatest honor is to get a cool death. They'll spray themselves with silver spray paint and scream, "Witness me!" before pulling off an insane stunt and go out in a blaze of glory. So Nux is ready for his big moment to be reborn in Valhalla, shiny in chrome. He's gonna flood his car with gasoline and take the war rig out. Max, of course, doesn't want to die and manages to stop him at the last second, so when the war rig hits them, they don't explode, and by some miracle manage to survive. So Max catches up with Furiosa and finds out what she stole from Joe was a bunch of hot babes. Yes, his harem of wives that he kept as prisoners. Max doesn't care, he just wants to get out of here, and at first he and Furiosa butt heads. But soon they realize they gotta work together to escape Joe's warband, so they all pile in for a big road trip. Max, by the way, doesn't say much, he mostly just points and grunts. He did manage to get free from Nux, and they tried to leave this kid behind, but he's crazy, he stows away, but they eventually kick him out again. Furiosa's plan is to cut through a canyon. She made a deal with the motocross gang, but with Joe's whole war party close behind her, they gotta blow their canyon to keep them out. And now the deal's off with Furiosa, so it's time for an epic motocross fight. Finally, Joe catches up to them, but he won't risk killing his pregnant wife. That's his whole thing, he wants healthy sons. So he sends Nux to stop the rig. The highest honor he could possibly want gets to be witnessed by Immortan Joe. But he immediately flubs it, and Joe witnesses him being a loser. So Joe has to do it himself. But during the fight, one of his wives falls down, and Joe swerves to avoid her, and he's out of commish for a bit. Nux is stowed away again, but now he's having an existential crisis, having been excommunicated by Joe. But one of the girls likes him, they start a romance, and so Nux now joins the team. Now Furiosa is taking them to the Green Place, which sounds like it's too good to be true. But Furiosa knows it's real because she was born there before she was captured in her youth. Finally, they come to a girl in a cage, which Max rightly recognizes that's bait. But this trap was set by Furiosa's old family. A group of all women call themselves the Many Mothers. Furiosa's like, hey, let's go back to the Green Place. But turns out they already passed it. Yes, it was the fetid swamp they passed in the night. Unfortunately, the Green Place is no longer green. So with no safe haven for them to live, this whole journey has been for nothing. Now their best bet is to cross the really big desert in hopes there's something on the other side. But Max has a better idea. Let's go back to the Citadel. If they can go back through the canyon and blow it behind them, Joe's whole war party will be trapped. They can take the Citadel themselves. But they'll have to outrun Joe's war party, and so this is it, the grand finale, the epic road war. It's epic car action mania. Boom, crash, explosion. One memorable thing, they got circus guys on poles that can swoop on in and nab ya. During the fighting, Max falls down to see the war boy driving his old car, which unfortunately gets completely totaled. Sorry, Max. It's an adrenaline-fueled, high-octane ride. And I'm just gonna vamp for a bit while I let these shots play out behind me. In the end, Furiosa takes out Joe by ripping his mask off, and Joe is defeated. As they approach the canyon exit, they're transferring over to Joe's old car, gonna blow up the war rig behind him to seal it. But Joe's buff son is here to stop him, so Nux has to slam on the brakes. And after multiple failed attempts to sacrifice himself, he gets one final witness me. Now to save all the girls, he crashes the war rig. Epic explosion, the canyon falls down, and Immortan Joe's war party is defeated. Our crew returns to the Citadel and shows everyone that Joe is dead, but Imperator Furiosa is alive. So everyone agrees she's their new leader, and they release the water to the people. So it's a happy ending for the Citadel. But of course, Max isn't sticking around. In classic fashion, he's a solo road warrior that's gotta ride off into the sunset. And that's where Mad Max Fury Road comes to an end. If you liked this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies.